Good morning. Welcome to Relisha Monet Presents Intimate Conversations. Today, our special guest is Miss Michelle Wong. She is an author, a producer, event planner. She has a lot of different things under her belt. So, introduce yourself and tell the audience a little about you.
Yes, my name is Michelle Wong. I own Evoy Productions with my business partner, Kiki Samo. I also support Curvy Revolution. That's one of the other businesses that I work with Kiki on. Apart from that, I also do a little bit of writing. I write business books. You name it, I do it. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm a Jill of all trades.
Right, definitely. I mean, that's how we kind of were introduced. Basically, we're working on an event, a women's conference, and definitely you have your platforms all support and motivate women and women entrepreneurs. So tell me like a little bit about that, how you got into, just the women empowerment movement and, wanting to create brands that supported women.
So I got into this whole women empowerment and support section, and that was through my own experiences. Most of my experiences dealing with women have been good. Some of it has been interesting, some of them have been a little dramatic, but overall we all collectively are looking for a space to have recognition, build a clientele, trying to have presence, have your business out and move along, and it's very difficult in a sense to go into industries where it's predominantly male driven and male run. So I figured, this is something that I need to build a community where we all support each other. We all try to help the other person move along so that we would be able to have more presence, have more of a voice in the public.
Right.
So that's primarily how I got started with that. I met phenomenal, amazing women along the way, and they want to, they saw what I was trying to build, and they decided they wanted to be part of the community. So I'm very blessed to have those type of individuals around in my circle, and we're continuously trying to create more of a platform, not just here in New York, but also nationwide.
Right. No, I agree. I feel like when I first started out, that wasn't my initial vantage point. Like I do always, of course, I'm a woman, so supporting women and attending women's events and things of that nature. But as I began to get more in depth into entrepreneurship and going out and just speaking to different women, like you mentioned, a lot of women want that, they want that platform. They find that it's very hard, it's a struggle to break into some industries, or there's a lot of stigmas where, I know for myself, I've been told like, well, you're bossy, or, you want to be in control. And I'm like, it's not really about that. It's just about, I'm a very vocal person. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about what I know. So if I know something, if I have knowledge or resources, and I can extend that to someone else, I'm going to speak about it. And I'm going to speak with confidence, and I'm going to speak from a point of, yeah, I know my shit. And, and sometimes men, I feel like they're very intimidated by that. Or they like try to do I'm going to put you in your place type of thing. I don't know if you've ever experienced situations like that.
Yeah,
where you've
I
dealt
have.
with men and then they don't come out and say it, but they kind of treat you like, oh, you have a place. You're overstepping.
Yes, I do agree that women get labeled, they get misrepresented. When you're an outgoing woman, or you're vocal, or you speak your mind, you now get labeled
right
on a negative instead of being labeled as such. You have men that have the same personality, they get labeled something different. So we have to really educate the public in general,
right,
and show that women and men, we're not as different as it being portrayed. We both counterparts do the same,
right.
And whoever has the capacity and is well equipped to do it, It doesn't matter if it's gender. Same thing with the personality. Just because a woman is assertive, now she's being, portrayed as being bitchy,
Right.
in a sense. Or if
Right, or like the angry black woman stigma.
exactly. So, we have to do away with that and educate. And even though it's still a gray area, and we're still a walk in progress,
Right.
we are getting support from men. I've when I have my events or I speak on things, you'll be surprised of how many men are supporting
Right.
women and want women to strive in what they do.
Right.
So that is in all on its own is great.
Right.
In regards to dealing with particular men that underestimate you, I've had that also happen to me.
Right.
And it's not just men, it's women as well. Believe it or not, I
No,
think
definitely.
I think more so women, because naturally we're ingrained to be a little petty, a little catty.
Right.
We're always trying to one up the other, and that's where I always tell the women that I encounter, we have to do away with that. We have to embrace each other,
Right.
and support each other, and not think that we have to compete.
Right.
Even if we're in the same industry, because we can get farther out
Right.
more with what we're trying to give as a message, a positive message, if we would stick together.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what line of work. It doesn't matter what kind of industry. It doesn't matter what kind of topics or subject lines. We have to stick together and be able to do so that we can get farther out and be able to reach the masses in accordance. Right. And also, not only that, but also give a positive, become positive role models for the young girls and the
Right.
young women that are out there that are looking to find their place.
Right. And I think not only just young girls, just a community thing, like a morale thing. I think as women of color, no matter what your background is, what's your ethnicity, where you grew up, what, neighborhood you live or come from, it's just important to see that, because like you said, I feel like we're constantly pitted against each other. Who looks better? How your body looks? What do you do? How much money you make? Who's your man? Are you married? Are you you don't have kids? All these different things that come about in the spectrum of women. And it definitely takes a strong woman. It takes a confident woman. I think that when you do see women who are in competition or trying to bring somebody else down, it's more of a lack of confidence that you'll realize. And sometimes what happens is, I'm sure this happens to you all the time. You'll go out and you see, these loud, very just like flamboyant type of women, but they're really like the very insecure ones. And now they try to project that to you as if, your confidence is not really your confidence type of thing. And I will say that I've seen a lot less of it over the years. The Female Empowerment Initiative has definitely transitioned. It's grown a lot. There's a lot of different platforms now that are offered. And like you said, creating those safe spaces, those comfortable spaces to be yourself, to be accepted, to not be judged, to, to not fit in, but to fit in. Like you have a home. So I don't want to be like you. We're not the same. But if I come and collectively, I can respect you, you can respect me, and we can work together. It changes the conversation. And not only does it change the conversation, it shifts our accomplishments and what we can do, because no matter who you are, what it is, everybody needs a team. And what's so funny, in recent months, like you said, I have a lot of male friends. I have a lot of males that are in my corner, that are on my team, that I work with, and they're very supportive, but they've been saying to me, like, you women don't support us men, or that we're keeping them out of the conversation. Like, I've recently had a conversation with a group of guys, and they're all men who are well respected in their communities, within their industries. They provide a lot of platforms, or they mentor young men, even men who may be formerly incarcerated type of thing. And they're like, you women are just want to only have female events, not necessarily events where the men are celebrated or highlighted. So where he's like, his exact words were, we're only sharing information with each other and not with the guys. So do you find that in your circles as well, or do you think you have a pretty balanced circle of information?
It's a pretty balanced circle of information. Like, for instance, on the production side with Evoy, Kiki and I are, women-run business.
Right.
She caters to on the curvy side, because the way we have it structured, I'm working more on the general aspect of TV, media, and film, like the general, men, female, different ethnicities, and so diversity. With her, it's a little bit different because of her background with curvy, it's primarily focused with women issues, women topics, and so forth.
Right.
But it's a marriage between the two, and it works so well because now we have within our group, we have diversity. We have, men and women, all ethnicity, all religions, all, different. I would say orientations and things like that. So that's what makes us so unique in that sense, and we get along so well because now we're covering, different topics.
Right.
The projects that we have, each one is so unique from the other. We have different genres. We have different TV shows from comedy to, reality based.
Right.
But each one is catered to something specific, and that's the unique part. Now on the curvy side, which is what Kiki runs and she's the CEO of, the interesting part about that is that, and we are in alignment, is we bring the positive into it. We have women, because when people think of curvy, they're thinking, oh, this is a woman that has curves. What she's representing with curvy is all women.
Right.
It doesn't matter, if they're thin or if they're, a little voluptuous, but there's something there for each woman, and
Right.
it caters to each woman. It caters to the everyday woman. It doesn't matter if they're a mom, if they're a businesswoman, different age ranges, but it speaks on
Right.
all women in general.
So that's why it's the curvy revolution.
Exactly. It's the curvy revolution, and with that, she's trying to bring in the revolution in the sense that she wants women to have a platform, a voice, be able to have a presence, not be, apologetic for being who they are.
Right.
Not conform. And that's the other thing that kind of transpires into the production
Right.
side, where each one of our team members that makes up our company, what makes us kind of gravitate to each other and why we're so bonded together is we all are what they call, quote unquote, the black sheep of the family, the one that nobody really gets to understand, or the
Right.
one that really is out of the norm. And we all individually have that in common. And that's what gravitated each
Right.
other, and being creative, and being able to have that, those wonderful ideas, and, family members and friends would be like,
Right.
what is this person all about?
I think that the black sheeps, though, are always, the innovators. They're the curse breakers.
Yes.
Because I considered myself definitely to be a black sheep. But I accepted it a long time ago because I knew that I was different. I knew that the things that I wanted to do, or situations that I wanted to address, or even just family cycles, I was just like, I'm not doing this. We're not going to repeat that. My kids are not going to be raised, knowing or modeling similar behavior. And then I actually was a little shocked at the backlash because I felt like this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is elevation. This is, stepping outside of the norm. This is how you get to the next level. And it was like, oh, you're disrespecting the family.
It's because we are programmed in society to conform. Conformity being the normal in a sense, not speaking on specifics or specific things that are going on that either could be considered
to not challenge the thing,
not challenging,
yeah.
or taboo or whatever.
Right.
I'm in an age where I am kind of like on the fence, where I have certain upbringings that are from back in the day, but also in the innovation part of things, where I see how things are progressing.
Right.
So I'm kind of like in between, where I was raised a certain way, but at the same time, it's like, you have to think outside the box. You have to be outside of the norm,
Right.
and not conform. And we are now we're in an age of embracing uniqueness.
Right.
Like we are now, applauding people that are being unique and out of their element and kind of bringing on the challenge of being innovative and different.
But I think it's very divided, though. I feel like it's divided amongst the generations. I think that we're the in-between generation, that there's some people our age range who want to stay traditional. They are like, I don't want to embrace this new stuff. This is weird. And then there's the people that are like us that I think maybe because we're, business women and we're constantly around creatives and artistry, that, like you said, we can see the long term, the growth. Because even me as a mom, there's certain things where people are like, oh my God, you're raising your kids like this, or your kids are like that. And I'm just like, well, a lot of people who I see that they quote unquote were raised with this old school type of mentality, where are they now? What did that do for them? Like, where did that get them? And, and it sparks conversation. And some people, they don't like it, they don't like the reality, or they'll say like, well, that's only such and such people. There are people from this that benefited, but I can only speak from my own personal experience, from my own family experience and what I seen growing up, or things that I'm like, oh, I definitely never want to be like that, or I definitely never want my kids to turn out or have that type of outcome. And then even just embracing the individuality and uniqueness of my daughters. Like, they're very small, but they got their own personalities. And I never want to box them. I never want to make them conform to what I think or what I want. So I really try to raise them to be free, to be open, to have open communication, and to also, just embrace the things that they like individually as well as together. Because they're very close in age, but they're totally different. So I treat them both accordingly to their personalities. But some people look at that like, oh, you're raising them spoiled, you're ruining them. That's not how you're supposed to. Kids are supposed to blah, 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 blah. So, definitely. But to shift the conversation a little bit, a little before we came on, I know you've wrote a couple of books. I know you have some books and things that you're working on. And we were kind of just discussing, business etiquette and certain things that goes on in this crazy world of business. And
That's for sure.
So tell me about just a crazy experience or something that you may probably run into a lot that you're like, this is not business etiquette. So we're gonna give the viewers some business etiquette 101.
Okay, so in regards to the whole business etiquette, I had the idea of writing business etiquette because of all the crazy experiences.
Right.
I had a former business partner that we were working together on real estate, and basically we were just like having a conversation, and I said, I'm coming across XYZ. I am thinking of writing a book about business etiquette. So now he's looking at me like I have three heads. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Business etiquette. What is that? I said, how you have etiquette and you have etiquette training. That started in England with high society, where they teach people to have manners and how to conduct yourself,
Right.
when engaging with other people. So it's kind of the same concept when it comes to business. It's not any different.
Right.
It's almost in the same realm. The only thing is that you're now conducting yourself in such fashion when you're engaging in business, because business can either help you and you can thrive, or it can hinder you.
Right.
And you won't be able to do anything. So that's where the whole concept came from, and it's just from crazy experiences. Like, I had one situation when I first started in real estate. We've just finished forming our company, the WIM Group, and we were working with some other people that were also starting in real estate investing, or they were doing something in the real estate industry. So here I have someone who is a friend of mine. We're cool and everything, and he's trying to get into the industry. He's telling me about a property that he knows of through a mutual friend. So he brings it in, and he's telling me, I want to get this and that and the third. So he was basically wanting, or felt entitled, that he was supposed to get a certain percentage. He also wanted to get included in the deal and get other props, other types of financial gain from that. So here my former business partner, he's kind of like looking at him, and he's like telling me on the side, he's like, I can't believe that he went and he did that. Like, he just finished starting. He has no reputation. He doesn't have credibility. Nobody really knows him from a hole in the wall. How does he figure that he's going to get all of this entitlement, being a partner in this particular deal, when it should only be a joint venture type of thing? He's only supposed to be getting a certain percentage, but that he wants money up front, getting paid out up front, when we have to do our due diligence. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And that's one of the things that when he thought about it, he said, you know what? Now I understand why you want to write this business etiquette book, because this is a prime example.
Right.
And then there's other things that people do, like how you go about your personal life is not the same of how you go about conducting your business. And for whatever reason, people think that they're intertwined. It's like, okay, I'm cool, I can be loud and vulgar, blah, 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 on the business side. And it might work well for you if people know who you are on a personal level, but it won't work the same if you're doing that on the business side. But, you have to, how do you say, you have to turn down the volume a little bit on the personality and how it shines through on the business side, because not everyone is going to receive it well, and you can lose out on that.
Right. What I do want to elaborate with that is, I feel like there's two things. One, I think people misconstrue this whole like reality TV world, those type of popularity people. So they're coming in on a different platform. So now the platform that they're being brought in on, people know them from having these big personalities or conducting themselves a certain way. So the money and the backing that they get comes from that, because now people are coming in and they're like, we want to work with Michelle from this reality show, but we want her to still conduct herself like the reality show, because this is what fans want. And then two, I feel like entrepreneurship has become a trend. So there's people that, are just genuinely, truly passionate entrepreneurs. They're by spirit, or who have went to school. They have, backgrounds and degrees in business or things of that nature. And then there's the people that are like because of now, where it's like you can start a business from home, work on the computer type of thing. Everybody just seems to think they're qualified. And also, I think that 9-to-5 etiquette and entrepreneurial etiquette is totally different. So it's a lot of people who are coming from the 9-to-5 world trying to apply those same rules and delegate the same way, and it just doesn't work. So I would say any advice is, if you want to get into business, you want to be an entrepreneur, do your research, do your homework, get a mentor, talk to people, ask questions, study your craft before you just insert yourself, and then you come and sit at a table of people who are experienced and everybody's looking at you like you're crazy.
I totally agree. I think that to become an entrepreneur, it depends on what industry you're trying to tap into.
Right.
Some places might be easy to get into, some places might be difficult to get into.
Right.
You have to have some kind of business plan or blueprint to get to that point, because anybody can start a business. It's how you go about it. It has to be methodical. You have to have a strategy in order to thrive in what you do.
Right.
That you have these gurus that go around and talk about, it's easy to start a business. It's easy to
you can become make 6 figures.
Exactly. And it's not something that is done overnight, because that's BS. It takes time, because you have to be consistent in what you do. Sometimes things that you plan out falls through, but you have to be consistent in trying to
reinventing yourself.
Exactly. You have to keep building, and put in the time, effort, and energy into what you're doing in order to have a good end result. If if something doesn't fall the way you want, or you fail and you're failing forward, don't stop at that and say, okay, I give up, because most people give up. You have to be consistent on it. You had Tyler, like right now, I was in Atlanta. Tyler Perry, he
Right.
just opened up his studio. And, for those people that don't know the history behind Tyler Perry, he was homeless.
Right.
He was trying to get his
Writing plays while he slept in his car.
Exactly. He was trying to get his life together. He was trying to figure himself out, see how he can, do something worthwhile with the talents. And his talent is writing. And
Right.
he started to go into working with his plays. Talking about life lessons. He had the Medea character that he created and all of that.
Right.
And it took him 25 years to
Right.
where he is now. It wasn't something that was done overnight. It was something that he dedicated his
Right.
time, 25 years, to where he is now.
Right.
And that's breaking barriers and proving himself and, trying to put himself out there. And because of his plays, and he talks about it in his interview, he talks about how he started in a small theater,
Right.
being a one-man show, because sometimes some of the actors that were supposed to
Yeah.
play the part of whatever character in the play, they weren't there, and he had to now constantly change in, and he had his
That's so
security. He had his security guy that was there to kind of
Right.
help assemble with the play. That same security, if I'm not mistaken, was the one that eventually, through time, became president of his company.
Okay.
So that was, and then now, paying it forward, now he, left and took the old studio that he had,
Right.
and he bought it, and now he has a Latino focused production company, studio,
that's
and all
awesome.
that. So you're paying it forward.
Right.
But Tyler,
But also too, it's just like it's not a popularity contest.
No, it's not.
Everybody wants to be popular, to gain reach, to have followers.
it's an image thing.
Right, and it's just like that. I can care less, honestly. When you're a real
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you're willing to do the dirty work. You're willing to go unseen, to not have the flashiest, the most current, because a lot
Exactly.
of times I sacrifice so I can invest back into what I'm doing, or take a class, or travel to a conference or something of that nature. But that made me, I sacrifice getting the latest iPhone or the newest car that just came out. And if you're doing it for popularity, it's just not going to work, because you're going to get old. That's just the reality.
People
You
will
get
start
old.
to see
that it's
people
not genuine.
It's people are going to see the truth,
Right.
Because everyone has their truth. What I mean by that is, and I say this a lot, the people that put the trend out on social media where, oh, I have this type of car, I have a jet, I have a mansion and stuff.
Right.
If you really go behind the scenes and go and kind of lurk and and watch what they're doing, it's not everything that it claims to be in front of the camera. It's all an illusion.
Don't believe the hype.
It's
Don't
exactly.
believe the hype.
It's all an illusion.
And it's all about who you know and who you hang out with.
Exactly.
And when you hang out with millionaires,
And-
they got jets and mansions.
But it's all smoke and mirrors.
Right.
A true entrepreneur, a true business owner, they're always on their grind. They're they're all constantly working 24/7, trying to
Right.
move on to the next thing.
Even when they reach that peak, it's still like, okay, I made $1 million. Now I got to make 10 mil and 20 mil, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. But before we wrap it up, I just want you to briefly talk about Curvy Fashion Week coming up.
Yes.
Get the viewers excited, because this is something that's new and that's never been done before. So you guys are like breaking barriers and breaking grounds with this.
Absolutely. So Kiki Simone.
Right.
She is the, like I said, CEO of
Curvy Revolution.
Revolution,
right.
and she also the editor-in-chief of Curvy Magazine.
Right.
She has a history doing fashion and all of this, and so she's been in hiatus for a couple of years, came back, and now she rebranded everything, and now she's hosting Curvy Fashion Week for February 2020. It's an exciting event for the whole week. It starts on a Friday, ends on a Friday. So it starts on February 7th and ends on February 14th. So it's a Friday and Friday.
Oh, cool.
Starts off in New York and makes its way to Toronto, Detroit, Houston, Atlanta, Los Angeles. Everything is going to be live streamed virtual through Facebook Watch. So that's an exciting thing that we have going on right now. And, just plugging everything in for and getting ready for that.
Well, thank you so much for being on Intimate Conversations. It's another episode, and we're out.